All right, we're live. Welcome everyone to Table Talk, where we talk all things tabletop. I'm your host, the Bad Gamer, with my co-host Glue Boy.
Hello, hello.
And today is going to be an interesting one because we are starting to see the rumblings of change in the tabletop community. And it's kind of been going on for a little bit now, and we talked about it a bit before, but I'm starting to notice some changes. But we'll get into that here in about, we'll get some people some time to come in. If this is the first time catching one of these, either post the fact or whatever, we usually get to the topic around 25 minutes. So, jump to then if you really want to. But before that, Alex, any small talk for today?
Yeah. Which, funny enough, I'm just getting a call about one of them. Probably just gonna let it ring. But I've had to alter a bit my recording schedule because I've been needing a nice little dental visit. Got to get a one dang tooth fixed up, but I was told, like, all right, it's gonna be in September. And it's like, all right, that's an expensive cost I'm pushing down the way. Then I got a call yesterday of them being like, hey, someone canceled. Do you want to come in Friday? Yes, I do. I was thinking about recording something tomorrow, but probably will not be able to.
Yeah.
Which, gives me more time because I'm making a video on World War II in World of Darkness.
Ooh,
a subject that has a lot of cool stuff, but is also incredibly dark.
Yeah.
As it should be. And it is less like one of the real facts, talking about the werewolves that fought in World War II, just like as soldiers. But also there's some very dark parts about it. Like there's a great book called Charnel Houses of Europe, which is detailing the effect of the Holocaust in Wraith the Oblivion. And it's one of those books where you're like, that sounds like it's in very poor taste. And it isn't. It's just a really good piece of Holocaust history. It's done really, really well with scholars involved in the book. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna need to change the tone, of course, and really buckle down the script.
Nerdomorphosis. It's fair. It's true. It's not rare, and in fact, we'll get into that here a little bit. But it is interesting in more of a monetary sense because obviously, yeah, we'll get to that. It's a huge conversation, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and other news other than that, or was this just the two things? Just
that's really all I've been doing.
Yeah.
I've just been working. I've been chugging on a video, and then playing Cyberpunk in the background, which my man, you still got to play the new updates.
I know.
It's actually good now.
I know. I'm in a weird state where I'm playing a bunch of games at the same time right now.
That's fair.
And it's mostly due to the fact that I have a baby, and so there's just some games I can't play. But then when she goes down for a nap, I can play for a little bit. I've been playing Lies of P, which is a really
good... I know the DLC dropped for it.
Yeah, that's what got me into it. Some Game Ramby, so
it is cool. It's a cool time. I never went crazy far in it, but I had a good time playing it.
Yeah. As far as news for me, it's kind of news due to lack of news, but things are calming down because now, we got married and all the family stuff is kind of done for the time being. And so things are kind of just going back to normal, less stress because we don't have a wedding on the horizon. So that's been great. And it's let us kind of go do some other things. We just went out with our friends up here to eat at a really nice restaurant yesterday. Ooh. Which was really good. And it's nice. And it's weird because we've entered into a strange part in life where I feel like this is the stage where we're actually adults, where it's our friends invite us out to a dinner and we go and we have dinner and we chat there and stuff like that. Or we go and we do things yesterday as well. We went out to the beach because it's we have real low tides at the time. so you can walk really far out into the bay, which is really, really cool. And it's gooey duck season, so you can see all the giant clams poking out of the ground. Axe throwing, no axe throwing yet, but that does sound, there's an axe throwing place around here I do know of. So
there usually is like one in a town or city, and it's fun. It's a great time. I mean, I even have one in my town, which is middle of nowhere, tiny.
Yeah. And then other than that, I am in the process of making content. But the content is under embargo, so I can't talk about it other than the fact that I'm making content. But things are getting a little bit easier. My mom is trying to spend more time up in this area, which will hopefully allow me to record and edit more. And so hopefully in the near future, I'll be making some content for everyone to enjoy again. The channel's been kind of spiraling a bit, as it does when someone doesn't make content for 6 months. And I'm looking forward to, I'm very excited to be back in the game of making some content. Hopefully y'all enjoy. And I got a lot of work to do. There's a lot of things I really need to talk about and really want to talk about. And so, you know, fingers crossed that things are going. But, you know, my daughter is also just getting older. And so she's a little bit more capable. We have a bouncer. You can't really see it because it's him and Alex, but we have a bouncer right over here that she just sits behind me while I'm working and bounces around. And her saping is getting a little bit more regular. So hopefully soon we'll get to that. And then I guess another part of news as well. Cosmere RPG is releasing at the end of next month. And so, from what I know, it'll be within the last week or so of July, which means our live play for Cosmere will be starting whenever we get access to everything. And that's gonna be really cool. But that also does mean that the 333 is not going to be our streamed game anymore. So for anyone who is interested in the 333, I'm still working on getting things prepared, but I will have a Patreon at some point where you can just pay $5 and you get access to the Google Doc where you can see all the rules as they're being added, you know, and you don't have to pay every month. You can just check back in after a couple months when some new things are being added in. But yeah, we're getting to the end of our live play of the 333. A few of us will still be working on it in the background as well.
I am excited for the shit we're cooking up. I'm gonna be excited for a Cosmere game. I'm excited to see the 333 progress as time goes on. It's very sick.
Yeah, and also in the 333, if you haven't been watching our live plays as well, we'll talk about some of that stuff. Yeah, man. But some really cool stuff is actually happening in the 333. Some of the more fantasy / higher power systems are starting to kind of get unveiled at this time, and so I'm very excited to mess around with that because things are kind of opening up. So if you've been enjoying it, or you like the idea of something very kind of like Call of Cthulhu-esque that kind of opens up more into a higher fantasy version of Call of Cthulhu, definitely check it out. We stream every Tuesday, and then you can catch it here on the channel on the live tab. But yeah, Daggerheart coming out as well, and there's people who've been talking about, but was there a specific controversy? What do you mean the playtest stuff?
Yeah, I'm curious if it's just if they altered it from the playtest, because I was already wondering, just with the couple of Daggerheart review videos I know have come out, if it's gonna have a repeat of what happened before.
Oh, their new class is up to playtest. Oh. I haven't really looked into that so far. I still want to test the waters on, not test the waters. I want to see how the Daggerheart situation unfolds before I start diving into it, because I don't know. That's the hard part about Daggerheart. I don't know how successful Daggerheart is going to be. It's just really early to tell because it's essentially just different D&D. Obviously, it's a lot more different than D&D, but on the surface, what it looks like to an outside observer, it looks like different D&D. They have the same kind of ancestries and everything. Let's see.
I think it's either going to turn people away from D&D fans who are like, I can just keep playing what I know, or it's going to draw a lot of them in. I will say, though, I like how they've set up their website, because they have an entire section of playtesting, which they have new ancestries they're working on. They have, Earthkin, Emberkin, like Elemental Kin. They have new communities you can be from. They're updating the Warlock class and the Brawler class. And the two new playtest classes are the Witch and the Assassin.
Ooh.
And, okay, just one of the little preview spells they're showing off forest sprites for the Witch. Which also will say, the art for her is very cool. This spell actually is, like, really interesting. Make a bunch of sprites, and like there's tactically what it adds to your friends and your party in an aura, or you can cast it selectively. So, and then Assassin has two subclasses of Executioner's Guild or Poisoner's Guild, depending on what route you want to go. It's like that's at least fun concepts. Seems like they're doing a fun job. I've always liked how their ability cards were. I like the idea of that a lot.
I thought about doing something similar. So, it makes a lot of sense. People like having stuff for their characters, and having cards like that feels like it would make the game a bit easier. Though it does kind of add to the monetary, like, requirements to play in some ways. So, not always, because you get the set and then, everyone can share the same set, but...
Yeah, I mean, well, it's a game that did not do as great, and I don't think will do as great in the end of it. Warhammer Wrath and Glory has the same thing. It has a bunch of like decks you can get, largely for crit effects, either crit fails or crit success effects.
Yeah.
Which I always like that. I like having a physical set of cards in place of like a table or something. It gives another fun thing to buy. It's the other bit I actually liked of D&D paraphernalia was the spell cards. I always really like that. It feels better to page through your stuff with like a handful of cards in your repertoire than like flipping through the book.
Yeah, and to be fair, the 333, I also will have cards for the event decks, but it's going to be more of a like blank card thing where there's a template on the card, but it's relatively blank, so you can add like new events or new bonds or whatever to your character.
Yeah, there are too many times of adding stuff to your deck to have a one-size-fits-all thing.
Yeah, so just some blank cards just to make it easier. I do want to have it on the Roll20 because I can do decks on the Roll20 as well. And then if we ever get into Foundry, I'm sure there can be some mod for cards on Foundry. So
there definitely is.
In the future, for sure. We're just kind of in the early production, but yeah. I was looking at the Google Trends for D&D and Daggerheart just of late. There are some interesting correlations that can be kind of drawn, and it does seem like interest in D&D can drop when interest in Daggerheart kind of goes up, and vice versa.
Huh.
But Daggerheart is not very comparable in general to D&D. So, like, I don't know. It's one of those games that I feel like should be bigger, but because it's so similar to D&D... Yeah, today has got a spike of D&D interest because of the new UA, yeah.
That's true.
But because of how similar it is to D&D, I feel like people are just getting D&D fatigue right now. And so a game that is just like D&D but different, I don't feel like is going to be as strong in this market. and I feel like people are more interested in something different. Is how I feel about it. I have no empirical data to really prove that.
It's why I'm like gonna have to keep an eye on this because I genuinely am of a similar mind. It's just I also have the part of me where I'm like, but then like there's just the fact of D&D players, like the ones who are super deep into it or really casual, not wanting to change from D&D because it's what they know. So that a new game that feels like it's D&D but different might be a major plus for them. I think I don't know which one I hold in my head is like more likely to occur, but it's like one of those bits of the strength and failure kind of can run from the exact same fact about it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the thing is, my view on it is the people who have a stronger preference for D&D, like in general, right? They're going to look at D&D Light or the a variant of D&D, and they're just going to generally think, I just kind of wish it was D&D content. Like, I would get this, but I'd just be rather playing D&D right now, to be honest, if they're that close. And I feel like for the people who are fatigued with D&D, they're just not going to want anything that even looks like D&D, or at least has the same feel. Like, I feel like Pathfinder is different enough because mechanic and game wise, it's just a very different game. Like, when you actually look at Pathfinder and look at what the characters can do and what they're made of, I feel like that will be more interesting to people than people looking into Daggerheart, which Daggerheart it is mechanically, I would say, more different in general because it's a more narratively driven game. But all the art and a lot of the general ideas of the game feel like they pull heavily from D&D. And so, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think it's going to be interesting to kind of look into it. Where those at Dungeon World could see a spike in interest. I'm sure it will. Like, that's the thing, right? A lot of these things will receive, relatively speaking, a spike in interest overall. It's just whether that spike maintains any kind of relevancy, or is it just like one day someone mentioned it and a bunch of people looked it up and then kind of went and moved on, kind of thing. Because Daggerheart's numbers are not small. If I type in Pathfinder 2e, yeah, Pathfinder and Daggerheart right now on Google Trends are relatively neck and neck. And Pathfinder, as far as TTRPGs go, are probably the biggest competitor for Dungeons and Dragons, as as the market goes.
Yeah, like of the two of the big dogs in the game, those would be, the two. And it is just the nature of like a lot, I think even just new games and Daggerheart where I can always imagine there's a stagger effect of it where it might pop off a little harder like a year down the line because I think there's a very consistent problem with people who like playing new tabletop games is that they're playing it and therefore when a game comes out they're mid-campaign.
Yeah.
And unless a game is like very dope, why are you gonna, ditch your game? And everyone can then buy a PDF or buy a book. It's just, are people going to follow up for the next one? Because you can make your money as a business from tabletop collectors who are the like, I will buy every piece of tabletop book as ever published. I just collect this. But the staying power is going to come from people just playing it constantly and having the name out there constantly.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm curious. I think that I think if any of them, I think Daggerheart is going to have more staying power than I forgot the name of their past game.
Oh.
Something Obscura, right?
Not Claire.
That's
Obscura.
the RPG. I kept wanting to say that. That was my problem.
Candela Obscura. They both begin with C.
Yeah, I kept wanting to be like Claire Obscura, but I think that it's gonna have more staying power than that. Because I'll be honest, I unless they're cooking shit in the far background and I haven't seen it. Uh, I have not seen anyone talk about that game.
Yeah.
Oh, the stream is frozen.
Yeah. I think it's back now. Well, it is on YouTube, but maybe YouTube's just catching up. I'm just having some frame drops.
Well,
hopefully it fixes soon.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on it.
Yeah.
Oh man, even I refreshed the page and now the ad is frozen.
It does seem like it's better on YouTube at the moment, though. Even though it's still like pausing occasionally. Yeah, because on Twitch, it's still showing the back of my seat. I've come back on YouTube. Yeah, I don't know what's happened. It says my stream quality is good, but that seems to be a lie.
Well, that is bizarre. Very bizarre.
Yeah, YouTube seems... Yeah, YouTube's just got a delay. Oh, Twitch seems to be getting back into it. Okay. Probably... Oh, there's another pause. Seems to be some kind of local issue. Oh. Yeah, just DC'd from Twitch altogether. All right. I'm gonna just end it.